Welcome to the Foundry by Forge College. First off, a huge congratulations on surviving, actually scratch that, conquering your ENS load balancing capstone. You've successfully mapped out the mechanics of routing decentralized traffic, which is no small feat. But now, it's time to add the missing piece to our Web3 identity puzzle. Today, we're exploring one of the absolute most fascinating primitives in decentralized architecture. We're talking about Soulbound tokens. So let's dive right into this explainer.
Here's a quick look at our blueprint for today. We'll start with moving beyond transferable NFTs, define the Soulbound concept, unpack the sealed certificate blueprint, look at some real-world examples, and finally weigh the privacy trade-offs.
All right, Section 1, Beyond Transferable NFTs. Let's talk about identity on the blockchain. So think back to your ENS capstone for a second. ENS is essentially the nameplate on your front door, right? It tells us exactly who lives there. But if we want to know their qualifications, their history, or their reputation, we need to see the verifiable credentials inside the room. Now, a standard NFT is built for market liquidity. You mint it, you trade it, you sell it. But imagine, for a second, auctioning off your actual university degree to a totally random stranger on the internet, or selling your Employee of the Month badge to the highest bidder. It's completely absurd, right? The very second an identity credential can be bought by someone who didn't actually earn it, it literally loses all its value. And that is exactly why standard transferable NFTs fail completely at proving who you are.
Moving to Section 2, the Soulbound concept. Let's define what these tokens actually are.
That massive flaw we just talked about brings us directly to these new tokens. And look, I know Soulbound sounds incredibly dramatic, like something straight out of a high fantasy novel, but the reality is purely technical. In this context, the soul simply refers to the specific wallet address that's holding the token. So no, we aren't talking about digital spirituality here. We're talking about cryptographically anchoring a credential so it can never be moved, transferred, or sold to another address. Ever.
And without getting bogged down in low-level code just yet, you really only need to understand 3 core components to see how this works. First up, the issuer. This is the authority that mints or attests to the token. Second, the holder, or the soul. That's the account actually receiving it. And third, the claim, which is the actual data or truth the token conveys. It's just a simple, elegant triangle of trust.
Section 3, the sealed certificate blueprint. Let's give this a concrete metaphor.
To really grasp how this triangle operates out in the wild, we need a solid mental model. I want you to think of a Soulbound token as a sealed physical certificate that has been permanently clipped into a personal wallet. If you try to rip it out to hand it to someone else, you completely destroy the certificate. It's issued by a recognized authority to prove a fundamental truth about you without ever allowing you to hand that proof over to a different person.
And because it absolutely cannot be moved, an SBT's lifecycle looks vastly different from what we're used to. Instead of the standard mint, trade, burn cycle of regular NFTs, it revolves strictly around 3 steps: issue, hold, or update, and revoke. The issuer grants it, you hold it, and if it turns out to be fraudulent or maybe it just expires, the issuer simply revokes it.
Here is the absolutely crucial takeaway. SBTs encode social or permissioned value rather than liquid financial value. We are actively moving away from floor prices and cartoon monkey JPEGs and moving toward durable, account-centric trust signals. This is a massive, fundamental paradigm shift in how we engineer value on a blockchain.
Okay, Section 4, Real-World SBT Examples. Let's put this theory into practice. Let's see how different communities are already engineering these sealed credentials. Our first schematic is the classic degree certificate. A university acts as the issuer, minting an SBT straight to a graduate's wallet. The massive value here? An employer can instantly, cryptographically verify your degree on-chain, meaning you never again have to pay your alma mater $30 and wait 3 agonizing weeks just for a piece of paper to be mailed in the post. Next up, we have the contributor badge. Imagine an open-source DAO issuing badges based on merged pull requests. The claim here is cryptographic proof of actual work. The value? Well, the DAO can gate access to private channels or allocate voting rights based purely on merit, rather than just whoever has the most capital to buy up governance tokens. This proves that non-transferability is the defining feature of a true reputation system. You can't buy your way in. You have to build your way in. Finally, let's look at a highly financialized use case: reputation scores. A decentralized reputation oracle issues a trust-tier SBT to your wallet. Because this score is soulbound and built on your persistent credit history,
Decentralized marketplaces can securely adjust your lending terms or lower your collateral requirements based on real, permanent on-chain credit. You can't just transfer your bad debt to a brand new wallet and run away. The accountability is baked in.
Section 5. The privacy trade-offs. Let's talk about the engineering risks.
Now, as engineers, we know that every single architectural choice comes with consequences. Accumulating permanent data on a public ledger creates a massive risk. I want you to really think about this for a second. What happens when your wallet knows too much about you? Sure, it's great to have your degree, work history, and credit score easily verifiable, but what happens when your digital wallet becomes a fully transparent window into your entire life for literally anyone on the internet to see?
This introduces what we call linkage risk. Having one sealed certificate on an anonymous wallet is generally fine, but as you accumulate multiple Soulbound tokens from your university, your employer, your favorite DAO, maybe even your local meetups, it becomes incredibly easy to cross-reference those specific data points. Suddenly, you can map that anonymous on-chain address directly back to your real-world physical identity.
Fortunately, we do have mitigation strategies for this. We can use off-chain selective disclosure, meaning you only reveal the token when you're explicitly asked. We can implement expiration dates so old data doesn't haunt you forever. We can use context partitioning to keep, say, your DeFi wallet completely separate from your DAO wallet. And, most excitingly, we can use zero-knowledge proofs to mathematically prove we hold a credential without ever revealing the credential itself. These are super fascinating cryptographic concepts, and you'll definitely explore them much further in our advanced courses at Forge College.
So let's bring everything full circle. This simple equation perfectly summarizes the architecture of decentralized identity. ENS, which you've already mastered, is the stable identifier. It's the nameplate on the front door. SBTs are the durable claims, the sealed credentials inside. Together, they provide the rich, verifiable authentication required for the next generation of Web3 applications.
As we wrap up, I want to leave you with this final, slightly provocative thought to ponder. If these tokens represent your digital soul, who ultimately gets to decide what your soul is worth? Is it the issuer, the verifier, or is it you? It's a fundamental question of authority and decentralization that sits at the very heart of this technology. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. To dive deeper into the technical mechanics of building these identity primitives and to continue your Web3 journey, be sure to visit forge.college. Keep building, and I will see you in the next one.